It always misses.
Welcome to About Epping Time.
Tom Cruise up there.
What a rock star flex, Marcus. And you're doing your hand zoom as well. That's classic.
He does one episode and now he thinks he's a star of the show.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's not as cool. The kind of wiggling thing, you've really gone down in the estimation, Marcus.
Sorry,
you were up there and now you're down.
Too far? No, not far enough.
Okay.
Oh, amazing.
I'm serious. Oh my God.
I know Siri keeps talking to me as well.
We all got too excited. How are we, people? Welcome to the show. Tell us where you are. Everyone now says hi to you, Marcus. It's not just the sunny.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah, man. I think we need to start getting rid of Marcus now. Good evening from Stockholm. Good evening from Wales.
Yeah. Hello. Very, very nice
Miami.
to see you here.
I bet it's hot in
Mumbai.
Miami.
South Africa.
Yep.
Say
Keep
where
them
you are.
in. We love this part of the show.
Raymond, how you doing, dude?
Miami. Hell yes.
What's on the wrist as well? I want to see what's on your wrist. Dubai. Hey, we are coming to Dubai so soon.
Oh, yes, we are.
In half a month.
Montreal.
Yeah,
Berlin.
Yeah.
Captain Tudor.
Hey guys, hey Dubai people, would you come and see us? Would you come and hang with us if we were a group?
I wouldn't hang out with you ever.
Too bad, George. It's an occupational part of the gig, man.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Norwich.
Vintage Hamilton,
England,
big eye.
yes.
Cool.
Essex, yes. Brightly Navatima, a great watch.
Helsinki, Finland with the FXC.
There's Tudors. I mean, Marcus
G-Shock
is a
Gravity
Tudor man.
Master. I want to have a look at that.
Oh,
nice.
Ulysses Nardan.
Belfast.
Yes.
Oh, Ray's from Belfast. Seattle. I've been listening to so much freaking live Pearl Jam this week.
Oh, yeah, you sent me that.
Yeah, Southern.
Hamilton 38mm, Bark and
Coventry,
Jack strap. Good man.
Yeah. It's all happening. And what have we got on the wrist, gents?
Ooh, good. I've got something special.
Show us.
Oh, you go first, Mark. No, you go last. No, you go first.
Okay, right. Okay, no. Yeah. Go.
Only if you put your sunnies back on.
G-Shock Ed Sheeran.
G-Shock Ed Sheeran already. So I've got my Mark 20
Yeah, someone's got one
on a
already.
Bark and Jack Nature strap. This is
Nice.
loving this bad boy. Loving this bad boy.
Nice.
Kent, UK.
Shooting Underdog. All right.
Marcus, come on, drop it. Stop.
Oh, sorry. I
Marcus,
thought
go
I was
for it.
going last. Okay.
I bet Marcus has a Tudor, Jason H says.
No, it is a Glassut original. No, this is.
Ooh, I like that dial.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
this is the Glassut original 60s chronograph annual edition. Yeah. Which is
With that little bracelet, you look like you could be Christian Hagen.
Yeah,
Especially
well,
with that.
I'll be honest.
No mistake.
Mate,
Look
if
at the
I
color
go
of his hat.
with
He's
Christian Hagen,
migrating.
I will be very satisfied.
Yeah, nice.
He's a cool
nice
dude.
Grey fume.
Oh,
Very, very hot watch, this one. It's
Has he got a display
there
case
is
back?
something
I tell you,
want to
Yeah,
it
say.
does have a display case back. And what's really interesting, I really
Is
love
that a
it.
NATO?
No, well, it's
No,
not
I
a NATO.
really like that strap.
It's not.
It's a really
The
cool
strap
strap.
is really robust. It feels like super. Oh, wait, come on, focus.
Most Navatimers will work with the 7-inch wrist, Connor.
Yeah,
That'll be
Look
fine.
at that.
But it is really good. But
No,
I don't know
that's
what
really
this
nice.
is. It's like a nylon, something kind
It's
of really.
quite thick, yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
thick, but you can see that it's gonna get more supple over time. But it's sort of casual. It sort of battles with the actual
like that
slickness
strap.
of the dial, but it just makes it really. It's sort of slick but sporty. It's really good.
Yeah.
So, Marcus's
Guys,
Glacier Original show continues. Yeah.
Wait, Andrew, can I just this watches with Abdullah. He's wearing a Malaysian micro brand that I have never heard of, and I'm wondering if everyone else has. So can you just go up in the comments? I'm sorry. Does anyone know about this micro?
This one?
Nice, Michael.
Yeah.
Ikagai.
Ichigo Maru. Sounds like sushi. Sounds delicious. Ichigo Maru.
I've
No, I
never
don't know that
heard
one.
of this brand,
Yeah.
and I'd love to know more. It's one of those things that in the comments, how does it wear? Is it a good brand? Are they great as a micro brand? You know, what
Yeah.
classes, for me, this is something that, we want to know about other watches that are out there. And this is one of those that I think
It
is
could be
really,
a
really good one.
BYOI
And
on
it's
a
a
future
It's a Malaysian brand as well that I'm really, really, really happy to learn about. I think that is I love, like, even Andrew, the Australian brand as well.
Yeah. Balcel just getting bigger and bigger since Marcus and I started repping for them accidentally.
Yeah,
I
represent.
just bought you a little Prezi. And while we wait for George to unfreeze, I'm going to drop this one on you.
All right, is that a new one?
That is a sweet one. Look at
This
that.
is the Norqain Wild One skeleton in this very fetching and very on trend teal.
What happens if we how Adrian, if we go, how do you solo people? You know?
Yeah, solo that.
Oh,
How
what?
do you solo someone?
Right. So you do what?
I think we've
Where-
soloed
where's
George
George
out
gone?
of existence.
I think George has just dropped out. He'll
yeah,
come
wow.
back.
All right. So you what? All right. That's for. Oh,
Don't mind us,
for
everyone,
God's
while we work out our
sake.
technicalities.
Oh, there we go. and then
Yeah.
it's going to be Andrew is going to be.
this mate-
Oh no, there we go. That little button. There we go. Solo.
Now we've got full
There we
screen.
And we've got George
oh,
back.
Wow. George
Yeah,
is
George.
back.
Sorry about that, guys. Oh,
look at
wow. That's amazing.
So
That's
that's
pretty
super
cool.
bright. And this is the reconfigured skeleton with the escapement at 12. So there's two different movements in the wild ones. One of them is the Kennedy movement, which is basically the Tudor Black Bay 58 movement. And this one is a modded Salita movement that actually is a bit more attractive to look at, but probably a bit less of a pedigree as a, higher end e-Bosch. So, but very fun, very bright. And I tried to order the beige one, the limited edition. I keep thinking it's the Hakuna Matata, but it isn't. It's another beige wild one that couldn't order it. This one came instead, and I said, I don't want that. And they said, just try it. You're going to love it. And in winter, as it gets more dismal, I kind of get why they sent it, because I reach for it every morning. It's like grey and dark, and
Keep the smile
I
on
reach
your
for the
dial.
happy one. Yeah. George, what about you?
Sweet.
Well, I have got
Hakuna
my
Matata.
Chopard Desert Racer on.
Hmm.
So I didn't bring many watches with me. I'm in Turkey at the moment, and so that's why the internet is a little bit. What would I best describe it as? Special
Shit.
at the moment.
Special.
It's kind of keeps on jumping in and out, even if I'm looking at anything. So I am sorry if I do fade out, or if there is the wheel of death. I am very, very sorry. I will be coming back. But yes, I have got the sold out Desert Racer. For me, as Andrew, you said, a watch that you would grab for on the go travel. This and the Aqua Racer are the two that I
They're
kind of
both
my
super
go
tough,
anywhere.
those ones, aren't they? They've got similar kind of color schemes. They're unscratchable, pretty much. They're light. Yeah.
And they're a great watch. So for me, that's one of those things where, and I was like, yeah, I need to get out and I need to wear something that is a watch that is a bit different, but still something that just you can beat around. I've also brought a G-Shock with me as well. Those are the two watches I brought with me for this trip.
George, can I share this?
You're on this video, but not on. But
Remember,
yes.
this stays up.
It's a yes. It's a
yeah.
yes. Look,
Go on,
this is George trying to prove that he's not James Bond by recreating a James Bond scene in Turkey.
On the actual roof that was
The
that
actual
shot
James
on.
Bond scene. I think they were on motorbikes or something, but let's watch that again in big. But if this looks familiar to you, it's because it's the exact same place where Daniel Craig I think it was motorbikes. It was riding along the top of those rooftops in Turkey. So, really,
I don't know if I'm allowed to run across those, but anyway, I did feel very much. Look, in that light, you were talking about Omega bringing out a new watch, and so I kind of said I wanted to feel like James Bond, and so I thought, this was a good one to bring out, something like that. That was
Scepter, that's right.
So that was really, really cool, and for me, that was one of those that I was just like, hey, it was once in a lifetime scenario. I went through someone's house. I got permission to go up walk along this this roof, and literally you had to kind of climb through something to get up there. It's not as easy as you think about getting a film crew up there. But anyway, Skyfalls. I feel like a bit like Skyballs. But anyway, look, it was kind of really quite cool to actually be up there and see the mosques, and that was quite an amazing to see.
It sounded like it must have been prayer time.
It was a call to prayer. The call to prayer was on, and it was just absolutely amazing. I honestly,
what a moment.
Turkey is such a wonderful East meets West country, and it is such a beautiful. I went to the spice market today, and it was just amazing to have these different smells and these different. I don't know. I'm like a kid in a candy shop. It's kind of a sensory overload, and it is absolutely amazing. And to be out here and seeing some of my clients, and to just actually have this kind of just some bit of downtime, and I can't wait to be in Dubai with you guys doing exactly the same. This is where experiences, if there is great things to do, tell us what we should be seeing, what we should be doing in Dubai, because that would be a really kind of great thing. I know that Andrew and Adrian have a bit more time to kind of twiddle their thumbs, because they said they were doing nothing out there. So they've got nothing on their schedule, so they can hang out. They can.
I got something reasonably significant planned that may make or break my business just quietly. But enough about that.
I've
got a couple of parties lined up. That's me working.
Just hectic, man. You are just working for the man.
Can I just ask another question? I'm sorry, it's back on to me because I'm just concerned my internet will die at some point. So I'm kind of like, hey, I'm still here. Look, we are thinking as a group of us, we're thinking we're going to be doing an event in London. It is going to be, I think it's the 13th. Is it right, roughly? I've got 13th in my mind of December. We're going to be doing a Poor Marcus, a live proper session that is going to be about effing time. Marcus's brain is going to explode. We're going to be doing it in London at an undisclosed place. We're going to send a link with a sign up. We're going to ask you, and I'm sorry to kind of be in this way, we're going to ask you guys to pay, I think it's £10. That is paying for security for the night, because that is the only thing that we feel that we need to put in. Otherwise, we're going to be talking to brands about potentially sponsoring the alcohol, the food, and the whole thing. So it becomes a little bit of a watch meetup, but I want to have it feeling like a good space. Would this be something that everyone wants to do around the 13th? A live event in London? Please do.
And the £10 is also to lock people in, because we don't want people to just randomly sign up for a ticket and then not turn up, because then no one enjoys that. So it's kind of it's not a crazy amount, but it's also not an amount that you just want to just throw away just for shits and giggles.
And we would love to see you there. So that's kind of that's one of those things. And I did say pounds. I'm sorry, but yes, we'd love to see you there if this is something you'd love to do.
Yes, well, I'm glad you got that out.
Amazing.
Again. I've got to get something out before it gets too far up the question thread, which is there's a question for the CEO of Amiga, Mr. Adrian Barker. Adrian, what were you thinking, Mr. Barker? Sorry, what were you thinking with the Planet Ocean release today? It's had a controversy.
What the fuck were you thinking?
No, just do tell us more about this release. I think it was how many
and the price,
thousands of pounds.
I just want to see how well you are listening. Do tell me how much you think it's going to cost.
I know what it costs, but you really should know that as the CEO.
No, he doesn't know what it costs. That's right.
22,000. See, the problem is this is just a typo. It's actually going to cost $2,200. I don't. Whoever's made that typo is going to get fired. This is how we are going to revolutionize the pricing within the watch industry. Tudor did it first. Fuck them. We're going to take over. We're going to launch these products and destroy the watch industry and remove all of this grey market BS. We're going to go in with an honest price. Sorry, no, I am getting in my ear. It is £22,000, and it is a fucking ridiculous amount of money to ask for just a different coloured watch.
But
so no, I don't know what
what's
I'm
the
thinking.
price difference between a black and a grey?
It's double. It was 11,400 for the standard one, and this one's 22.
Come on, let's get this up so people can see what is going on.
Please, thank you. Wow.
I have to be honest. I think this is absolutely stunning.
Of course you would. It's grey.
It's correct.
It's grey and orange are my favourite colours.
You would love this.
Yeah.
And I think this is awesome. Looks wise, the price is just moronic, but it is stunning.
If I can be, because I was just purely mystified until I read Zach's story in detail and read, okay, so the actual movement is constructed of grade 5 titanium, which obviously is an unusual decision. Like, if you're going to spend money on manufacturing, do you make a big watch that is 15 millimeters thick lighter and think that that's what the consumer wants? Because they've made this of a new ceramic alloy.
Oh, see, this is where you've gone wrong, Andrew. You think these companies make products for the community. So what they do is they change stupid details just so that they can make complex, what seems like complex manufacturing processes, but in fact, it's just pressing print on some different material, and then they get to
I've ever heard.
and then they get to charge an extortionate amount for a product that no one asked for. And that is one of my reasons why, as CEO, I am going to change the structure of the company, and we are going to focus on the end user, the customer, the people who actually like what we do. This makes me upset.
Can I just on this side of this? When you look at this, when I put on my wrist the IWC engineer and everyone that I've worn this watch in front of, everyone's gone, oh my God, that's absolutely amazing. Even when we were doing a session, I showed you, on my wrist, we were talking about it, and it really did pop, and it really did. Do you think that this actually, when you put it on your wrist, you would go, actually, this feels like it should be worth that much? I know that the IWC is expensive, but when I've been wearing it for a period of time, I'm like, actually, this is up to a Nautilus. This is up to an AP. This is one of those watches that feels like it's, and it is in that same caliber. Do you think that this, I'm trying to give it a nice side. You're
trying to be devil's advocate. You're trying to find a defensible angle.
I am, because I still, you and I messaged each other, Andrew, and just went, what the fuck?
We did. And that was before I'd read Zach's story, where I'm like, okay, look, there probably is, it's a bit of a failure of storytelling, because there isn't really enough of a story built around. Obviously, there are extra costs incurred in creating a new alloy, which is this ceramic alloy that's lighter and tougher. And there's obviously R&D costs and manufacturing costs in changing, like movement components made of grade 5 titanium and base plates and so on out of that material is odd. And I suppose that you could, if you're going to lean in Omega's favor, you're going to say, okay, well, that would also cost. But again, Adrian, to your point, is the world, you know what? I would have bought the Last Planet Ocean if only it was 50 grams lighter. And I wanted it in exactly the same spec, but I want it lighter. That's the part that people are picking up on and saying, nobody asked for that. Everyone wants it to be smaller and thinner. So to your point, Adrian, maybe it is just, again, a little bit of a case of the community not being listened to.
If they wanted to make it lighter, surely they would go a step further and skeletonize it. You've got all of this material that doesn't need to be there. So why have these solid?
I do like those great plates.
The watch is stunning, like legitimately stunning. If it was $2,500, I would get it. But this is.
Well, look, but it's never going to be that price.
If the mission was to make it light,
maybe in 20
it doesn't
years'
need
time.
to be this.
Can I just say, can we switch over to the front side of it? Because there's just a few things that I was wondering. So firstly, back to the two side by side, because of why I wanted it. I liked when they did the black with the black date wheel and the white numbers.
Yeah.
Why the fuck didn't they do grey on this or
Yeah.
with orange numbers?
Actually, would it be a great?
Such
That's
a
a
good
good
The
point.
other thing for me
It
that
makes me think of
kinda
the grey
bugs
side of
me-
the moon, George, too, because
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure the
thing that
grey
bugs
side of
me
the moon had the
is
grey
the two
date wheel.
crowns. The two
Yeah.
crowns in the titanium. For me, I'm like, well, couldn't they have bead blasted them to make it a bit darker? You look at the show, my Desert Racer, it's a darker titanium. They could have done that with that. The other thing is that dial, for me, is a little bit of a lighter grey, where I would have loved to have. The one on the left just seems a little bit more thought through than the one on the right, but they've spent more time on R&D on the one on the right. But you look at that dial versus that dial, they just seem like they're not designed by the same person.
Well, look,
It
it'll
is
be great to
stunning.
get this in the wrist and see, to your question, George, because, look, for example, people still have an issue with Norqain's pricing. And when people say, what do you think is the virtue of this watch? They're selling the virtue of this watch as the fact that it's 78 grams. So lightness can have a premium.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you love that idea that you can get that, I'm not going to say Richard Mille experience, but if you're going to get a sub 100 gram watch, super light like this, are you prepared to pay, for example, in this case, Omega money? But then Omega money ain't Omega money anymore because clearly Omega money's now at another level. But it's just that argument, I suppose, that lightness equals luxury and that lightness equals more expensive. But it's pushing it to the limit, and I think people are having an interesting dialogue about it today. But yeah, it's the CEO. I thought was really quite forthcoming there, George and Marcus. I think. Do you have anything else to say, Mr. CEO? Because having watched the show again and your comments on Omega, how did they sit with you? Did you cringe, or did you think that guy knows his shit?
Oh no, yeah, I'd double down. This one slipped through the net because there's going to be a transition period where I take over and projects that were already in the pipeline have been paid for. We can't waste money.
He's washing his
this
hands
sort of
of it.
stuff.
I had nothing to do with it.
I was
It
at a
wasn't
watch
on my
event
watch,
where
sir. It wasn't on my watch. Look, don't
I
worry.
was at a watch event where the CEO did make that comment.
Oh shit! You need to just step up on all those things. Look, honestly, Andrew, it has been such a like 2 weeks of news that it's like, oh my god, we want to be CEOs of other businesses and other things along the way. I mean, like, Jesus.
I don't know what's been
Christ.
going on.
Oh
What's
my god!
happened?
Have you been?
Oh,
I mean,
Only Watch.
well, that was one of those chestnuts that came out this week or last week. That was.
Has it been proven that there's been something dodgy going on, or is it one of the matters that they can't prove that something hasn't gone on? Therefore, there's questions
the
around
thing
it.
is, we don't know, and this is the thing is, and
we do know more actually, George. Okay, there's been there was that investigation piece in French.
Yeah,
that we actually we bought a translated.
Andrew, you posted about it, yeah.
No, that was I posted about Only Watch's statement, and I said I hope this isn't the end. But my angle on it is different. But there has been an advancement on the level of investigative, insight into improprieties that have been happening, and just to put things in as brief a terms as we can. It's not just the fact that 50% of the money wasn't distributed. It's that the funds that were distributed to companies owned by the founder of Only Watch, with the intention that when the cure is found, that the cure will then be sold through that privately owned company. And again, that's a very shorthand. So the plot thickens to another level again of, instead of it just being improper use of funds, it's now a case of the money that was actually used for research is owned by potentially by the founders of Only Watch. So it just kind of gets murkier and murkier.
Yeah, that is.
It makes me sad. Deep down, I just think, and I want to bring a new angle to the Only Watch discussion, because I don't know if I won't mention the name, but there have been people in touch sort of bemoaning the fact that this could be the end of altruism in the industry. That's one angle, as in people will just stop trying to do good things because you get shot down, whether you're, people are just going to be so scrutinizing everything so hard that it's going to be impossible to do anything good. But my angle is I'm just a watch lover, and putting all of this nonsense aside, all of this bad behavior aside, this was the part of the year when brands did interesting things, George.
Oh,
I can
hell
see
yes.
a smile on your face. Because this was the time of year when everyone went batshit crazy.
And they ask you to do stuff that really is out of the. I'm like, literally, I'm lined up for 2025, and I was like, yay, I'm going to be doing something. And I look at this and I think it's hard for the industry. A pill that shouldn't be swallowed. I think it was one of those things that we all go with the love for something like this, and something that we, for anything in charity, you want to do as much as you can. And you look at the
way more exciting.
You look at all the things that are happening, and you go, yes, this is really, really cool. I also would say is you look at those watches that were coming out this year. There was some things like the Baltic. Fucking amazing. The Curdor, the MB&F, the AP. There was some things that we went through all of that going, this is a roller coaster we're on, and we're loving to be a part of this. That Hoya, you think about what's gone into the development of that Hoya to get it to that point. So for me, that was one of those things. So for me, that was an amazing thing. I would also, I wanted to jump on Studio Underdog afterwards. I think
I can help you out there as well.
I know you can. I think to myself this has been one of those. It's been a shock because I think it would have been a highlight for the auctions, because I think that if you look at auctions in the automotive world and in the horse world at the moment, they've been very slow. And I thought that this would have been the one thing that would boost everything over and past and keep the watches afloat. And now we're in the auction season that may struggle at the moment, because you look at the other auctions that are out there. So that's for me one of those things. Andrew, the thing I wanted to get onto, because this is your favorite subject, and Marcus, you've got one of them. What a freaking amazing launch by Studio Underdog. I mean, drop the mic. He has dropped the mic on everyone. That launch,
Look, George, that's true. It's true. I think, but like, it wasn't all
amazing.
Rosy. Like, Adrian and I had a side chat about it, and it's there's been a bit of there's been a period of. Would you consider it, George, a straight drop the mic? Because I feel like it's been a bit of.
I feel like Andrew has written the rule book for Studio Underdog's launch. I mean, to get on to Lebeg, boom, the different people reviewing it, all the different things, jumping across everything. I went to my team and I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is amazing. This is an amazing launch. I am so excited for him. I am pleased for him. I love the watermelon over this, but that's me. I think that was a little bit more experimental. I think this is very much, this is what it feels like. He's gone to quite a lot of meets and meetings, and then saying you've got to have a serious field watch, and this is what you've got to have. I think the quality looks good, and I can't say anything else, but the launch was bloody amazing. I mean, like, actually he did a
well. So the reason I said, sorry, George, and I'm bringing you in, Adrian, but the reason I said it wasn't just an instant slam dunk is because, Marcus, I think your journey with this collection is a really good one, because you were just kind of like, nah, yeah, I'm sure they're fine. And then it's sort of been a bit of a journey since then, hasn't it?
Yep, and I'll tell you why. Hey, so out of these, right? Obviously, people think Studio Underdog, they think color. I'm actually gravitating towards.
Aren't they meant to be back in Melbourne, Marcus?
Yeah, nearly. Tomorrow I send them.
You bastard. Send them back.
Okay. So this is really interesting because of the way this dial works. And so he's got a layer of sapphire. Well, he's got the color layer, which on these ones is like this crazy amounts of layers of lume. Then there's a layer of sapphire, which is on top of that, which then has this little gap. So the numerals are painted onto the top of this sapphire. But what is really cool is because of the domed sapphire, when you look at it here, you can see the reflection of this top sapphire layer on the next layer of sapphire, and it kind of makes it look like an enamel dial. It warps and bends in a really interesting way. And you can see this shadow cast from the numerals on the dial. So depending on which way angle,
Charles, I agree with you.
It's just freaking awesome. Really good.
Charles,
can we put Charles's comment up, please?
Please make his comment really big. And also, someone else said the Field Watch is the new integrated steel bracelet.
What, this one?
It absolutely is. The Field Watch is the new.
And this is 37 mil. This is only 37 mil. It's tiny. I would never, ever, ever buy a 37 mil watch.
Put it on, Marcus. Show it. You've got a beefy.
Yeah, I've got a
full-on thick wrist.
So I've got a little claim to fame with this watch. So and I have to flex the claim to fame when they come through. So I saw the prototype last year, start of this year, and the screws didn't line up on the dial. And I told Richard that he had to get the screws to line up. It will be such an eyesore if they don't. And he completely changed the construction of the dial and the screws to make it line up. And it looks so much better. It looks so uniform and tidy.
Yeah.
I do think it would benefit from having a 20mm strap compared to the 18 that I think it is. But I think the clever thing about this is it's a fun watch when you know the details of watches and understand the construction of the dial. The fact it's got all the sapphire on the dial and all the extra lume. I think it's fun in a different way, in quite an intelligent way.
But
it's not as cartoony as the others.
No, and that's where, for me, if you're going up on the serious watches, and I know this for a fact on what I've done with
we've got Brett Pearson in the house. Hey, Brett.
Hey, Brett. Marcus is 7.25 inches for someone that asked. But
and Marcus now is doing his Halloween.
I know nothing about his
Halloween.
Wait, I'm going to try. I'm going to do this.
The other thing is, so when I'd say to you on this is, you look at the new Baltic and with that hidden crown, and it doesn't matter about price on these two, but you put the two next door to each other, and for me, I would go Baltic over this. And I've always been one of those people. I think Baltic knocks it out of the park versus this. They are two different
dimensional
prices.
numerals, George. I like the 3-dimensional.
This is gorgeous.
How cool is that?
That's what I mean. Is this versus that? You're playing against Baltic, and this hidden crown. It just looks so amazing when it seizes on the wrist. I think Andrew, you had it on the wrist.
Yeah, I haven't had the Baltic on the wrist, but I'd love to know what people are gravitating towards.
Oh my God, this is stunning, this Baltic. And
Marcus is still shilling.
Marcus is still going.
No, he's still doing Halloween. It's perfect. But
very cool, man.
I would say to you is, I've got a field watch, and both of these watches I think compare very, very closely to mine. I think Baltic knocks it out of the park, and
this is gorgeous.
Which color would you choose, Georgie boy?
I loved the claret, and I also loved the blue. I thought both of them, or the brownie one, I thought was amazing. So for me, when I compare and contrast, what's the price of this? I can't remember. It's out of stock, but
out of stock already.
Yeah, 550 euros. So for me, this is
still going.
Oh, it's just. It's some heavy loom, boys. It's heavy.
Yeah,
the Baltic does have a Minolta. The Baltic has a Minolta movement, and
but
I think it's
finishing off their watches is absolutely.
Studio
Underdog is Sleater as well.
Better movement, but very hot watch. And do you love that perforated style strap?
I think so. When I'm comparing and contrasting, I would, if I was going, but let's actually ask this question down to our viewers. Which one would you go for? Just put in Baltic or Underdog, and let's see who is going for Baltic or Underdog. Because this would be really interesting.
They didn't do black. That is just so Baltic. It's like we're gonna do something. that's
Baltic.
really like
Okay.
somewhat predictable thematically, but in execution, we're just
Wow,
going to
already Baltic, 3 Baltic so far.
Yeah,
Studio
it's
Underdog,
exploded.
definitely
Kevin.
blue. Yeah,
Yeah,
Underdog.
I'd go Underdog.
It's a great fight,
100%.
and it is a better. It's a
Baltic.
infinitely
Okay, let's take
better
Baltic off the
movement.
screen and have our beautiful faces on the screen, just so then people don't kind of think we're only shilling Baltic. Underdog, neither. Baltic.
Neither. Baltic tuxedo.
Underdog.
Positive there.
Baltic.
Between these two.
Stop shilling.
Yeah, Marcus has been a strange. I think you're right, Captain. I think Marcus is.
Are you on commission? I think Marcus is on commission. Do we get a split of this? Or
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, honestly, I was really bored when I saw it.
Really
when I saw the
love
drop,
it.
I'm like, nah,
love it.
boring.
If I look at the numbers so far in my mind, I'm thinking Baltic takes it home at the moment. Underdog's up there, but Baltic is taking it home. The other thing, thank you very much. Jizzy Ninja, you are amazing. Love you, man. The other thing I would also say is, for roughly this price, and I think it would be a little bit more, you could get a vintage Rolex Bubbleback. You could also get some very good vintage field watches, CWCs as well. So
you could get a Rolex Skyrocket, George, but you couldn't get a Rolex Bubbleback, my man.
George, guys, I've got a genuine question that I'm just going to throw out. We don't need to discuss it. I've just got a request. So I'm going to Dubai Watch Week. I've just bought myself 2 suits, not 1. That's 2. So that brings my total of suits up to 2. And I want to get a dress watch. I can't afford a Basculante because the hype this is 19,000, but I'm obsessed with the idea of a vintage gold watch. So if you guys have any ideas of something sexy, it doesn't have to be from a massive brand. It can be from anywhere. It just needs to be sexy and vintage. Yeah, vintage, gold, and sexy. I don't really know. 6, 7. Not. I mean, I'm selling a few watches because I don't want modern watches.
No, Adrian, can I just throw something else out there for you then? Why not? I've just been looking at some of the old. There's the quartz movements. So the IWC is a good one. There's quartz,
and it doesn't have to be
IWCs.
Mechanical. It can be quartz. I don't mind quartz dress.
There's also, can I just go to Hoya? There's things like the Silverstone.
Of course you can go to Hoya, George.
No, there's a vintage Silverstone or vintage Camaro that are quite good.
Oh, right. Okay, cool.
The Camaro is actually really, really great. Great price, great. But it's not solid gold. This is plated or something like that, but it gives you the gold effect.
Yeah, I'm not that precious about it. I just want something sexy. And I feel like vintage watches is where my head's at right now. I'm obsessed with old shit.
Adrian, my choice there would be a smaller, they're going to be smaller, 36 mil Calatrava with a white dial, like a white enamel dial, Patek,
guys,
plain, just a running second.
I do not have Patek money.
No, they're surprisingly, they can come in okay. I think if you've got 7, you're not going to be. I haven't looked in a while. But actually, I'm going to shout out Justin Haas. Justin Haas got a tailor-made suit this week. And his tailor had a tiny Calatrava, yellow gold, white enamel dial. And it was just to me, that is the dress watch. That is the forebear. It's the OG. So, and because it's a tiny size and an outmoded kind of style in general, you might find a bargain. I didn't look, but that would be my answer. Or a gold tank, a gold quartz tank. I'm sure you could find something.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that Calatravas are quite. I'd rock a 34.
Yeah,
I'd go 33.
In a dress watch, it's 100%.
You would go 33.
Yeah. In this watch, it's such an OG. So this Calatrava style is the sort of DNA strand that is. You find trace elements of this style in so many modern watches.
I don't think I want a Patek though. I'm kind of anti-Patek. That's kind of my thing. I'm not old enough to be Patek.
I got you one.
What have you got? What do you got, George?
And I've got you because I think this is actually really unusual, and it is kind of under your budget at the moment. It's about $7,000 is a anniversary, and I've got to get it right. It's an anniversary Monaco, and it's done in solid gold. Solid gold anniversary, and it was produced in 2010. No, it's beautiful, and it's a white dial, but I threw a black dial in it. But it's so cool because these anniversary pieces, most people don't want gold, so it's kind of one of those things that is, they're just such a cool watch. They, see,
this bad boy.
That is a monster.
That is going to stretch my arm.
That would weigh a ton.
It doesn't weigh 300. Honestly, it doesn't weigh, and it's so cool because no one has them. Now, there's a reason why most people don't have them. Firstly, because of the white dial, and secondly, because you're mad to have one. But it's actually really cool. I was so
the heads on Monacos are already so heavy, even in steel. My caliber 11 is just
flip-flopping,
beating the shit out of my ulnar on my wrist. So in gold, even more. Hey, speaking of questions for the group, so that is just
that is gorgeous. That is
naughty.
That's very you.
I like that. Last 28 millimeters.
Adrian, you just end it with that. It's just like, this is me in this watch in a suit. Anytime it's needed for the rest of my life. There's no need to go anywhere.
And that would look killer with a with jeans and t-shirt. Killer.
Yeah. Well, Marcus, let me ask you a question in the spirit of Adrian's question. Then, and by the way, George, you're not off the hook for the last episode. I'm just letting the flames build up, just like you're a cannibal in a pot. And it's just like
we've only got 20 minutes, all right? So we
helplessly
need to
sitting there.
make sure
don't think for a second that I know that I don't know what you're doing.
Spit it out. The question out.
Marcus,
no, someone just said, "Can we actually talk about Tag Heuer?" And I was like, "Yeah, Tag Heuer."
Marcus, you actually watched from your producer's chair and director's chair the CEO for a Day episode.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you like to take over? Tell me now.
Oh, really? Wow. Gee, this is.
Yeah.
I was thinking you were going to ask something else.
No,
who would I take over? Jeepers.
Those sunnies at the start brought a lot of swag.
I wish you had have asked me this before.
Like,
give me a second,
no pre-talking.
man.
No pre-talking.
No, you go, give me 1 minute at least. Why don't you start?
Okay, come and hit me, and then at the end of it, you can go back.
All right, good. I've just got a simple question for you. What do you have to say for yourself?
Look, honestly, I think it is very hard being a CEO of anything. I see what these guys go through. I see what they're trying to be pushing. I think that is my biggest thing. I think when you can say it's a cop-out, I would probably go to you and say fuck off, because I'm just like looking at this and going, it's not
to a lot of people in the comments then.
Yeah, but it's not a cop-out. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you look, you hear what they're going through. You hear what they're doing on engineering. Even that Omega that we've just ripped into at the beginning, we go, oh my God. But you think about, you put out something. Let's go for even Studio Underdog or Baltic or any of these guys. They're putting their heart and soul into this product and saying, hey, we're trying our best. And that is one thing I would say. I would say to you, some of the brands where the CEO is faking it in there, then I would say probably that would be the things. But most people are getting up and they're going, hey, I'm going to do a good job today. And as a CEO, they're trying their best to be a good job. So when you're asking me to kind of think, oh my God, I can change all of this, I know I jumped in at the end and said, oh, I'd like to be Rolex. I think for myself is I'd come back to this and I'd say that they need to be more on AI and actually using something that connects more into their customer relationships and really connects in how they really go into that world. But most brands, you look at them, and misdirection. I love when you're saying misdirection on this. I'm not misdirecting, because what I'm saying to you is,
where is that Gavel? Where's the judge? Judge Ray?
No, I would say to you is, like, you guys, Jaeger LeCoultre, I look at it and I'm like going, they were more batshit crazy before. They did some great things on the master compressors. They did some amazing things in their history. You think about their Aston Martin connected watch.
Okay,
I would love to see more of those things.
Let
Some brands I'd love to see more of. The dive watch from GP, I would love to see that dive watch come and knock it back out, because that for me would be one of the things. I'd go through each brand and say, I'd love to see this watch come out, but I'm not going to say, oh my God, I'd like to be the CEO, because Jesus Christ, that on your shoulders.
Well, that was the game, and this was a fantasy game.
I think the difference is that George is actually the CEO of a watch brand, so I think he can, and that's what it sounds like, is that you're empathizing with the situation in which these guys are operating, and so I think that makes it more of a challenge for George. Whereas it's our job to sit back and look at this stuff and just criticize it, and so we would change it. Whereas perhaps I think George might be looking at it as in saying that they're trying. And we all know, George, you're very open with the stresses of doing a launch. You're very honest about going out and putting your neck on the line, and that's essentially what these guys are doing. I called out a watch brand about putting on a bad trip, and I felt bad. I deleted that part of the video because I just thought, these guys are just trying, and just because they got it wrong, I felt bad for that. But for what I said about Omega, I stand by it.
And the other thing I will say to you is, any of these brands, I'd love to be a CEO. Jesus Christ, could you imagine? I'd love to be the CEO. But what I would say to you is, it's what the hell do you do day one? And the other thing is, it takes, if you think about whatever you're going to do, so this is when you were saying fantasy, whatever you do has a wash through, and you're at least 3 years in development of the wash through. We already said that, some CEOs, oh my God, they go back and they're like, oh, what's happening? And that was the past, and this is where we are today. I mean, I saw a monstrosity of a watch that I actually did get, and I will bring it up to this because it is monstrosity. It's a Zenith watch that is something that made me smile, but it's one of these Defy Extreme, but it's one of the original ones, and it's all out of aluminium, and it's got a pusher for a deployment, and it's mad. But that wash through, if you think of a CEO, you've got to be in that role for at least maybe 6 years, especially in the watch world, to get a pure wash through, unless you're someone like Jean-Claude Biver that gets things done quicker. And that's the only thing, when you look at it, he's probably the only one that could really get it done quicker. But most people, I'd love to be in his shoes for about 10 minutes because he's fucking amazing.
Anyway, frankly, I think you missed the point. I think you missed an opportunity.
I know.
But this is the beauty of it.
And I'm still missing the opportunity in the point, because I did.
Diplomatic.
If we'd agreed with each other and had the same perspective on the questions that we asked each other, we probably wouldn't be here. That's the only thing I'll say in your defense.
That's a good point.
I'm just going to let the people pick over the carcass, but I do want to say that we continue to have. And Adrian, we talked about this a couple of times when we've said, hey, the theme, because just to give you an insight into how we operate, we don't script anything. No. We just say that this is the theme of their shows we're going to record today. And then halfway through, you'll go, you guys have interpreted this completely different to the way that I
yes, that's the challenge of not pre-talking.
So in actual fact, and I'm not going to stand in your defense because I'm going to let you burn, George. But I will say this is about.
Sorry, we started our therapy session with flames. So Jesus Christ, honestly,
and you're on it, baby. You're on them. I'm just marshmallowing and enjoying the comments. I will say, if we had always looked at every question that was asked the same way, maybe we wouldn't be here. But it's still a cop-out, and I still think you missed an opportunity, and I still think you could have played the game. But let's move on from that, because that's getting nowhere.
Not holding a grudge.
I'll play the game then. All right.
Oh, he's back. He's had some time to think about it.
This is who I'd be the CEO for the day. Now, this doesn't make it a better company by any stretch of the imagination, but I would be the CEO of Rolex. And my biggest gripe with this brand, and I've said it before, I don't think I would ever wear a Rolex.
Oh boy, here we go.
Because they are so impersonal, very impersonal, and I haven't had enough personal experiences with them as a brand to want to have it on my wrist. And I feel like that they deliberately keep that impersonal nature, which is doing them favors as a company, but not to people like me. So they're not going to win me over without becoming personal and playing this game that you've got to play to get one.
Marcus doesn't feel comfort, by the way, from Rolex.
Yeah, so I just like I don't. That's why I'm a
But
tuner
does
fan.
that
Fix
look
it.
like an
Marcus,
advert
get it.
on TV
Fix
that
it.
you
So
kind of
I
go,
would say-
oh,
This game is about not just taking away the crutch; it's about replacing it.
Fine.
Make
So
Rolex
then-
personal. Do
So
it.
okay, so then I wouldn't have this big,
A big
huge
tent party.
I wouldn't have the
Oh.
song and dance game that you got to go through to actually be able to buy one at retail.
I think that's all going to change anyway. It's already happening in the car world. These long waiting lists and things like that. You're already starting seeing it coming down on these watch brands because, people are going, I'm not going to wait or I'm not going to pay over the odds anymore. I would say, Andrew, and this is quite interesting. One of the comments was, if you asked me brand X, so if you went brand X, what would you change? Then I would tell you of what I would do from each brand. But going for choose a brand and become CEO,
that's a good idea for another episode.
Because for me, I could very easily say, look at this. These are things that I would look at doing because I love each brand and what they're doing. But there would be things like I've already said to you about Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Compressor. I would love to bring that.
I'd be buying
batshit crazy stuff back out, but people wouldn't react to it because you guys absolutely want to have sex with the reverser and that's it.
No,
and it's like
I'm the one that said the Master Compressor chronograph.
I've got a reverser. But the Master Compressors and the kind of advanced technologies that they did at Jaeger-LeCoultre were fucking cool.
Look at this sexy little thing.
Yeah, but they're vintage, and also what they're showing on vintage. You think
cool.
Could you? And then also what I would do
that's the LeCoultre. That's pre.
Exactly. Yeah, that's USA, isn't it?
But also the other thing is, would you imagine? And this is something that I think was absolutely amazing from Omega. They brought out their museum pieces. Would you imagine each brand to actually have a division that is only down to we will reissue every year a truly beautiful vintage inspired watch that would only be under the museum brand? I would go through most of the brands and say they could do it with knobs and bells on. You'd instantly add that to any brand because that would then please all of us.
Yeah. Well, I suppose I'll revisit mine then because I'm hosting. I get to dodge my own questions. But do you guys have anything for me on Breguet in terms of how that went down? Because I've got to face the music as well.
Oh, I thought it was a good shout.
Yeah,
I thought it was
really good. It was
I think you did a good job. I think that's
feel
why.
A bit of passion for Breguet as well. Did it sort of ignite in you a sense of shit? Do you care?
It made me sad. It made me sad to think that that whole I should have rebranded my little name, shouldn't I? To CEO boring.
Captain Omega.
It just made me sad to think of all the history that is there, and the power that the back catalogue and the history has, versus the weakness of the brand right now. You think, damn, this, and the fact it feels like it's just being left there to die. It's kind of like just a charity just being. It's like
because I want to share my final comment on Breguet, and we've got some pretty baller people in our community. We have some pretty senior people in the film industry in the community. I want to share again. I'm not joking when I say I would love to create a Hollywood biopic about Louis Abraham Breguet. There have been similar biopics made about other inventors.
Enzo Ferrari. It's just coming out with Michael Mann.
Yeah, there's more and more of these films that unearth
But Breguet is such a great story.
Breguet as a Hollywood film, I spoke Aldous Hodge and I spoke late into a night about how this could be, and the Negroni suddenly fueled the creativity to a point where it was becoming incoherent. But there was definitely this. We were both visualizing this movie that would change everything, certainly for Breguet, but also for the industry. Because when you look at these heroes of watchmaking and it's like the Prestige, these films about absolutely insane, inventive people in, in other industries. It changes things. It changes the way the whole industry is perceived. And I think something about Breguet would be, I would just love to do that. That is my dream project.
What a terrible website.
You need to make your own website.
Is that pixelating for you?
Yes,
yes. How hard is it to upload an image that isn't pixelated?
And we're back. But
look at this. That's shocking.
That's a standing invitation to anyone who wants to talk to me about working with them on a Breguet movie. I am down. I will pause all my projects.
What I liked about what you said, Andrew, what I liked what you said is that you actually had some solutions there, which is really, really good. And I would anticipate that maybe perhaps some of the people from Breguet maybe saw the episode and would be like,
Well, look, they're pretty much they're completely unjustifiable actions. Like what I'm asking for is half production, double or triple the number of watchmakers, watchmakers that are an elite level doing hand finishing. These things are all uneconomical proposals. But this is, I think one of you guys said it in the meeting about there being halo brands within a group, George. And I think you said that some brands are given the sort of the absolute best of all roles, which is to be a loss leader, but a halo brand that lifts the whole group. So if the Swatch Group strategically decided to make Breguet their loss leader economically, but the sort of
good.
The emblematic soul of watchmaking.
They'll bring out a Swatch version. And then
that would be the death of us all. I think I'm just going to retire if there's a Breguet Swatch.
But you think about the history of this brand. You also look at what the second-hand prices on this, and all the things on this side. It is an amazing brand. That's where you're talking about these brands coming out and kind of doing something where you go, oh wow, it needs to come back alive. And at the moment, it feels a bit of a.
How do you rate the website, Adrian, from 1 to 10? Are you okay, mate?
I'm obsessed with this watch. This
you
is one
think
of my
of a big
favorite
eye.
watches of all time. I think this
But the vintage versions are just amazing, and they're just.
I think the Transatlantique is my favorite. I posted that on my personal Insta. I don't know if you guys saw that during the week, but it's there's a version that was a couple of years ago that I still think is my preference, which is this one.
Oh shit!
Do you remember this one?
Ethan wants us to review both Time and Tide's website and Bad for
Oh, let's go.
Please,
no,
please
no,
don't,
no.
don't, because Adrian's just going to rip the shit out of
because that mean I'd have to do mine, and my website's terrible, so I can't talk.
It's a glass house we live in. It's a sapphire.
Exactly.
We all need to upgrade our website.
Anyway, look up the Atlantique Type 20 for the sexiest Type 20 ever. Look, gentlemen, that's an hour. We get
these for like $4,000, man. The Transatlantique.
Really?
The Type
really?
20. Yeah, dude.
In steel?
Yep.
I've got a whole list of
Depends on
sexy
the
watches
model.
that I've been
They're
identifying.
affordable.
Oh, nice.
Like
You're on your dress watch trip. Get a tiny
And
little
none
two-tone
of them are
222.
Tag
That
Heuer.
could be good too.
That Jaeger would be a good one. None of them are a Tag Heuer, so
Look at you.
I know where I sit on that.
Adrian's dress watch search. How sexy is that for you, Adrian?
That's
tiny.
amazing. That's what I would get.
That is
I'd do
beautiful.
That's a banger. Look at those. Look at the center link there. The way that center link is contrasting.
That's a flex and a half.
Oh, then that
That's
patina.
amazing.
Is it like
God.
27 mil though?
No,
It is
that's
tiny.
going to be about less
It's
than.
tiny.
It's going to be like 18 mil.
I know
Yeah.
someone who has that watch and it's
25, yeah.
25.
That's it.
That's
That's
not
all my
bad.
budget can afford.
Yep.
If you got
I
that,
like that Jaeger LeCoultre.
I still think
that,
that the Calatrava ends it, Adrian. You walk in, you just end it. It's like that dude's.
I don't want a Patek. A Patek.
Stop
I
it
need
with
to
your
be
working
at least
class
another
oil.
15 years.
Wait. Go back.
older.
Go back. Just go back there. Boom, that one down there. That's awesome. So
This one?
Oh, that cushion cake weirdness.
Oh
That'd be
my
gorgeous.
God! Look at that.
Adrian
That
couldn't
is
pull that off.
sexy.
I don't think he can do it.
It's a
awful.
Mammovox. This is so cool.
Actually, it
And
kind of
so
looks like a
these
1921.
So these
I love
movements
this.
that, so
It's like a
Lacouture
budget
did
1921.
Cartier watches for them, a Mammovox Cartier watches and it was almost the same dial on this and it said Cartier and then it had Lacouture underneath. They are
Oh, really?
such a
Oh,
cool
that'd be
watch.
cool.
And so look at the dual signed Cartier Lacouture case watches, and it was the same movement as this, and that slim movement went into those watches, and it was absolutely amazing.
I've got a wild idea, George. Why don't we get this for Adrian and then get your watchmakers to resolder the lugs in a slightly different position so that he thinks it's a 1921?
Yeah, that is a great
Yes.
idea.
And just scratching with a compass, just scratching.
Gentlemen, we could do this all night. This could be our
really
new
good.
show. Just us scrolling Chrono 24 and shouting at the screen like old men. But
look, one thing is we have got some amazing stuff coming up on our podcast. We've got to film.
We did a schedule, George. We did a schedule.
Yeah, we did a
It's
schedule.
out.
So
Yes.
Finally.
So if you look at the schedule, we've got it all in there. But do
People have
subscribe to
waited
our
4
podcast.
seasons for this. I said to our guys, Grant, I said, Grant, make it like a band tour poster. So the yellow dates are the dates you need to be there for us. And the white dates are the names of the episodes. So you can see what episodes are coming. We're giving it all away right now.
Looks so
Look
good.
at that.
Yeah.
Huh?
So there
Right
it
on.
is. That's
Right
coming at
on.
you.
We look so
Yeah.
happy. What's wrong with us? We look so
It goes
happy.
right into January. It goes right to 2024. So you can see what's coming. We do rate your collections. We do share our own collections. We put our necks on the line.
yeah, we do.
It's only getting better. And then, we're going to have some stuff out of office. We're going to shoot something in Dubai. So genuinely, if you are in Dubai and want to hang with us, there is a possibility we could look at your collections. We could have an iced tea, whatever we do in Dubai. So DM us at the About Effing Time Insta, and farewell to all. Thank you
Yes.
for joining us for another fast and furious, slightly out of control session.
Thanks for joining us.
Awesome.
Thanks,
That was
boys.
awesome. Thanks,
Take care, guys.